All right, it's 6:01 p.m. That's called the October 2025 Alameda County Water District Board of Directors meeting to order, please.
Directors Akbari. Here. Gunther. Sethy. Here. Weed. Here. And Huang.
Here. Before we move to salute to the flag, I believe there are some housekeeping issues that General Manager would like to make some comments.
Sure. Just to make sure everybody knows how to participate in our meeting. I just want to introduce myself, Ed Stevenson. I'm currently serving as the district's general manager. Members of the public may participate in this board meeting in person or remotely by either using the Zoom application or by telephone. Any member of the public present in person who wishes to make comments may approach the speaker's podium at the appropriate time. For those participating remotely, note that the meeting agenda, staff reports, and presentation materials for this meeting are all available on the district's website at acwd.org. You may reference the instructions at the top of the agenda for how to participate using the controls in the Zoom app or your dial pad if participating by telephone audio. Again, thank you for attending. President Huang, that completes my housekeeping remarks.
Thank you, General Manager Stevenson. Next is salute to the flag. Director Weed, would you do the honor?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic, and the nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
All right. Next item is public comments. Members of the public may address the board on any item not listed on the agenda, which are within the purview of the Alameda County Water District. A 5-minute limit is customary. However, I may adjust the actual time allowed to accommodate the number of speakers. Members of the public who wish to address the board on a scheduled agenda item will be given the opportunity to do so. So now I'll open public comments. Do we have any members of the public attending in person that wish to address the board? Please come up to the podium.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Caldwell. I'm an advanced treatment facility operator and vice president of the Operators Association.
I'm Danny Lee. I'm a treatment plant operator. I am the secretary of the OA Association.
My name is Adam Evans. I'm a treatment facilities operator and president of the Operator Association.
We come here tonight. We have a letter drafted by our negotiating team, which includes us three. We'd like to address the board and provide an update from our perspective on our current contract negotiations. Our purpose here tonight is an attempt to reset the narrative and present our perspective on our negotiations with the district. We have been flexible in our contract negotiations, understanding that an agreement on financial aspects must be realistic and sustainable for all involved parties. While we have reached an unofficial tentative agreement with the district financially, our progress has been stalled by the district's MOU language proposal about our shift schedule agreement. Their proposal has raised concerns with the Operators Association about our shift stability going forward, near term, and into the future. Efforts have been made on our end to shore up the language to reduce ambiguity and ease our concerns about the possible future misuse of the district's proposed language. Despite our concerns and growing distrust of management, our counter proposals have been categorically and wholly rejected. We have recommended several potential remedies to reduce the district's claims to confusion surrounding our shift schedule without altering the language itself. This is a shift schedule that has benefited the district financially for decades, and our remedies have fallen on deaf ears. We take the ultimate pride in our positions representing the district and its mission statement to its core. We are here 24/7, every day of the year through pandemics and other catastrophes, and will continue to do so. We would love to simply clock in and do our jobs to the best of our ability while keeping the public safe. To do our job without worrying that the district is continually attempting to erode the importance of a mutually beneficial MOU. Our association is resolute in our stance on this non-monetary issue, and we will defend our position. In this negotiation, it seems clear that neither side will be congratulating each other when an agreement is reached. To us, that's a sign that both sides have had to compromise, and which ultimately is a positive. It is our hope that this has shed light on our situation, or the situation from the Operators Association's perspective, and we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to address the board. All right. I do not see any other members of the public attending in person. I believe we have attendance online and I see a hand up. Mr. Nishimura?
Yes, thank you, President Huang. I just wanted to make a note about an item that was in last month's board packet and was discussed as item 6.2, which is the Umberg report. I just wanted to comment because I believe I made a comment about it over a year ago about the formatting, and I am pleased to see that the Umberg report, which is in the minutes for the September 11th meeting, took into consideration my comments about the formatting to make it easier to see how the funds were spent. So I wanted to congratulate the district for taking public comment into mind and correcting that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nishimura. Do we have any other members of the public online that wish to address the board during the public comment period? If you wish to address the board, please raise your hand in the Zoom app. Seeing none, let's move on to consent calendar. Do I have any motion to add items to the consent calendar?
I'll make the motion to add items 5.1 through 5.6 to the consent calendar.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther, Sethy,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent calendar as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther, Sethy,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye. Next, moving on to item, I believe next item is item 5.7.
Yes, thank you, President Huang. And item 5.7, long time coming. We're very pleased to be able to present this item to the board. It's to authorize a successor memorandum of understanding between the district and Operating Engineers Local 3, AFL-CIO, and by resolution, adopt associated salary schedules. And for this item, I will turn it over to Mr. Wonderlich.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. Good evening, members of the board, staff, and public. The purpose of this item is to consider a successor memorandum of understanding, or MOU, and associated salary schedules between the district and OE3, which represents the district's field staff and rank and file bargaining unit employees, excluding the employees of the Operators Association, who we've separately heard from this evening. This MOU establishes the approved wage structure and defines the terms and conditions of employment for OE3 staff. The last MOU expired on March 31st, 2025, and the proposed successor MOU will go through March 31st, 2029. District representatives began meeting with OE3 representatives during the summer of 2024 to understand member priorities related to wages, benefits, and working conditions. The proposed successor MOU is the result of collaborative negotiations, including 28 formal bargaining sessions. And on September 26, 2025, OE3 formally reported to the district that they had ratified the successor MOU. The successor MOU is designed to maintain the district's competitiveness in the recruitment and retention of qualified personnel and align with Strategic Plan Goal 4.2, maintain employee retention by encouraging and valuing employee work efforts and skills, and Strategic Plan Goal 3.2, ensure cost reasonableness. So the recommendation on this item this evening has two parts. By motion, one, authorize a successor memorandum of understanding between the district and Operating Engineers Local Number 3, AFL-CIO, consistent with the terms and conditions outlined in the staff report within the board packet. And two, adopt a resolution approving updated salary schedules for OE3 classifications reflecting the wage adjustments that will be implemented upon authorization of the successor MOU. And so with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Questions or comments from the board? Nothing?
No.
Questions or comments from our members of the public or our union representative on this particular item? Do you have any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, that's open to online. Do we have any members of the public online that wish to address the board on this issue? If so, please raise your hand. Not seeing any. All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to adopt staff recommendation.
Second, do I have a second?
second.
Roll call, please.
Directors Akbari,
Aye.
Gunther, Sethy,
Aye.
Weed,
Aye.
and Huang.
Aye. With that, let's move on to reports. Item 6.1 is board committee reports. Do we have any questions or comments from the directors? Any of the board reports? Any questions or comments from our members of public in attendance in person? All right, any members of the public attending online that wish to address the board on any of the board committee reports, please raise your hand. Not seeing any. Let's move on to item 6.2, operational reports. Any questions or comments from the board on operational reports? Not seeing any. Any questions or comments on our in-person attendees on any of the operational reports? Not seeing any. All right, let's move on to online. Any members of the public? Oh, I see a hand. Mr. Nishimura, I believe you have a comment for the board on the operational reports.
Yeah, I feel compelled, especially because Director Gunther is absent. So in his stead, I will make a comment about the distribution system hardness map. I noticed that in September, the hardness was actually very good. Large sections of the district were below 100, and even the notoriously persistent hard water in the northern part of the district, Union City, is below 150. It's actually closer to 120. So good job there. The other comment is that on the water production report, it's rather remarkable to see what difference the 2025 summer, which was relatively cool, has done compared to historical demand both in 2020 and 2015. So it's clear evidence that the relatively cool summer we had has reduced demand due to reduction in outdoor consumption. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nishimura. Do we have any other members of the public online that wish to address the board on any of the operational reports? If you wish to do so, please raise your hand. Not seeing any hands. Okay, and we don't have staff presentation. So moving on to general manager's reports.
Okay, thank you, President Huang. We do have a couple of general managers' reports this evening. First of all, a quick report on the implementation of our new payment processing system and vendors. So I will turn that again over to Mr. Wunderlich.
Great, thank you, Mr. Stevenson. So we recently completed a project led by our customer service team, managed by Jacqueline Simon, our customer service supervisor, with support from folks within her team, as well as great support from staff in IT. And because there was some interesting contractual situations, also I'd say an unusual level of support from our purchasing officer on this project. But what we did is we implemented a new behind-the-scenes payment processing vendor. This is a project that really wasn't visible to customers. It was designed to be that way. If we did it right, they didn't really know what was going on. And what we did is we aligned the front end part of our customer portal that customers experience with the back end payment processor, which will increase kind of our behind the scenes efficiency for customer service and reduce situations where there are maybe problems with individual customer transactions and so on, and we'll make that easier to solve. And so some of the key improvements from the project: enhanced payment processing reliability and data consistency, strengthened security features now that you have the same vendor who's handling both the front and back end aspects of that. improved reporting capabilities, and as I mentioned, what should be a smoother payment experience, both for our customers as well as for staff working on the back end. And then the final component is with this change, it should give us some flexibility to lower the merchant fees that are retained by Visa and MasterCard. And we want to give this some time with the new vendor to see what we observe there. And if fees remain higher for certain groups of customers, specifically commercial customers is the focus, then we're comfortable with, then we may be back with some options to try to address that. And with this new vendor, we will have more flexibility with things we can do to try to kind of level that playing field in terms of the interchange or merchant fees that we're experiencing across different customer classifications. So I'm pleased to report that that project has been concluded.
Questions or comments from the board?
Just one from me.
Director Sethy?
Who is the payment processor?
It's now with SEW, the same as the front end for the customer. Previously, we were with Invoice Cloud. We were with them for about 7 years. This wasn't about our experience with them. It was more about aligning the front end and back end and the efficiencies with that.
Does SEW stand for something?
Smart Energy Water is what it stands for.
Okay, great. Glad to hear about this.
You. Any questions or comments from our members of the public in person or virtual? All right, Mr. Nishimura?
Yes, just a quick question. I assume that proper precautions have been taken to ensure that the previous vendor has destroyed or purged all customer data that they no longer need. There's just been cyber incidents left and right, and I just wanted to make sure that data that a vendor that is no longer processing or information, they don't keep a copy of it. Thank you.
Yes, correct. We're taking all precautions to protect the integrity and security of customer data.
All right, next item.
Okay, the next item, 6.4.2, is update on the Fremont Unified School District and Alameda County Water District Water 101 Ambassador Pilot Program, and we're super happy to report on this. Our special assistant to the general manager has been putting in an awful lot of effort working with Fremont Unified, in addition to working with lots of other entities on lots of other potential avenues along these lines. But I'll ask our special assistant to the general manager, Ms. McLeod, to report on what's going on with this ambassador program.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. I am thrilled that we're going to be kicking off our Water Ambassador Program. It's a pilot program with Fremont Unified School District. I've had the pleasure of working with Mr. Nate Ivy, instructional coach at Fremont Unified School District, over the past year to develop a 7-module program for high school students. So it's an awareness that they can get into the water industry. It's a varied experience, but it's field trip experience. So they'll be coming on site to a lot of our facilities, and the board will get the opportunity to interface with the students on May 21st at a board meeting, where they will be presenting their capstone projects as well as be doing a mock board meeting. They want to learn how to do decision making. So it's been a long time coming. We had an informational session on September 12th with over 60 students in attendance. We received 34 applications, and we've approved 14 students for this first-time pilot program. So they've turned in their forms, and we kick off Monday, October 13th at treatment plant number 2. So we're very excited. And thank you for the opportunity to develop the program. And thank you to all my colleagues for all their work and helping me launch the program as well. Thank you.
Questions or comments from the board? Director Akbari?
Well, I am thrilled about this. We got an update yesterday in the LICA committee as well. And very excited for the board meeting. Did you say it was in May?
May 21st, yeah.
Perfect. One thing that I always like to mention when we do our water clip survey competition, when I see the students out there, I'm always like, these are going to be our future board members and future staff. And I think especially introducing them not just to operations, but also, doing that mock board meeting is going to be really, really insightful so that they can start to learn about how we actually make decisions and how we move policy forward. So that aspect especially, I'm very, very thrilled about.
I
Going to
am-
be new for us too. This is not something we've done
Yeah.
before.
No, I'm really excited. Definitely is very heavy lift from everybody, but please convey our appreciation to Mr. Ivy. I think it takes a lot of work on his side too.
Yeah, and thanks in advance to all of the zillions of staff that are going to be supporting this program
Yes.
over the next several months, including folks at our own water treatment plant #2, because one of the modules has to do with, meeting up there, learning about water, and also taking a quick look around the plant too. So lots to come in this program.
May I make a suggestion here?
Of course.
I did talk earlier in the week with Jackie about this exciting program. And as you know, I guided a Irvington student through an internship here. Not only did she learn about water, but she took about 15 classes through CSDA where I got her set up for free to take all the standard courses that an elected person would take to learn about governance. And then she took about a dozen of the online webinars from Aqua. And I would suggest, after having talked with you, that we might want to integrate this as optional studies. And I remember when I was growing up going to the library all the time, and we have students compete with stars, in the library for the books they read. Well, you could set up a little incentive program here to get them to go through all those different courses. And CSDA was really very cooperative.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we're viewing this as a bit of a pilot, and so is Fremont Unified, by the way. And we hope to kind of test out some things and then also extend opportunities to other school districts in our service area and, maybe engagements with other organizations too. So, and this is just at the high school level right now. There's other things brewing at other levels.
Well, if they want to have a practice board meeting next May, taking some of the courses at minimum, like the Brown Act, would be really important for them to get to know.
Not a bad idea.
Good luck, Jackie.
Any questions or comments from our members of the public, either in person or virtual? If you oh no, that's not a hand. I was going to say, if you wish to address the board, please raise your hand, and I am not seeing any. All right, any other general managers
I
report?
do have another quick note. As you know, next week we're imagining a
Yes.
day without
Without
water.
water.
It's not necessarily something to celebrate, but we're drawing attention to that. That's a customary thing annually. And just to kind of fill out the board's understanding of what we're doing, on Thursday morning, this is October 16, we'll be setting up our information table and handing out Java jackets at Max by Icky at 3900 Smith Street in Union City from 9 to 10. And then at that location, we'll be drumming up interest in our event later in the afternoon and evening at our event called An Evening in the Garden with Pints and Plants. And that will be at the Birdhouse Beer Garden at 3821 Smith Street in Union City. That's again Thursday, October 16. I know not all of our directors will be around to be able to participate in that. But that'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. So you're certainly more than welcome to participate. There'll be a succulent planting activity. We'll have a UC Master Gardener on site to answer questions and talk to people about native plants and water conservation practices in your garden. And we are also handing out limited edition pint glasses. We are not filling them with anything. That's up to participants to do. We are furnishing some light refreshments, but not the pints themselves. And our sort of the campaign message is out of water, no pints, no cheers. So there you go. That's what our Imagine a Day Without Water event looks like. on Thursday. And that completes our general manager's reports.
All right, next, let's move on to director's comments, reports on meetings attended, and agenda item requests.
Could I make a request?
Yes.
Why don't we skip all of this, because it's a lot of talk from John and I, and we go directly to our closed door session?
And then come back to this?
Yes.
It's fine. Well,
What's the favor of the board?
but then with staff has to stay behind.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
All right.
If the board would like to do that, we can certainly do that.
All right, let's move the orders. Okay. So let's take item 8.1 first. So item 8.1 is a closed session pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiators, agency designated negotiators at Stevenson, Jonathan Wunderlich, Laura Heides, Amy Reeve, and Stacy Q. Employee organization, the Alameda County Water District Operators Association. So with that, that's adjourned to closed session at 6:20. All right, it's 7:08. The board returned from closed session. Council, would you help with the report back, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to give the report. The board met in closed session under agenda item 8.1 pursuant to California Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with labor negotiators, agency designated negotiators Ed Stevenson, Jonathan Wunderlich, Laura Heides, Amy Reeve, and Stacy Q. And the employee organization is the Alameda County Water District Operators Association, and in the closed session, direction was given to the agency designated negotiators. And that concludes the open session report.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And then let's go backward to item 7, director's comment, reports on meetings attended, and agenda item requests. Director Sethy, I believe you have 1, 2, 3, 4 items to report back.
Yeah, and a very short fifth one. So I attended the inaugural Water Resources Science Symposium at the California Department of Water Resources in the Natural Resources Building. As I told Ed, I've discovered where all our tax money's been going. Secretary Crowfoot and the governor have built themselves a nice Taj Mahal downtown. It's a fabulous building, and I was given a tour of it while I was up there. Since this was the first symposium that they've ever held, and I have the brochure here if you want to take a look at it more closely, they went through department by department with the department heads presenting on all of the latest scientific work that they've been doing on mapping out groundwater and aquifer systems, on forecasting of weather, the snow predictions, absorption of snow into the ground. So when we had the drought going on, we had really good snowfall. For example, we had very little water going into our reservoirs because it was being absorbed by the earth. There's a certain amount of water that has to be present in the earth before you get the runoff. So it was a really interesting day. And I'm not going to go through everything here because there's a lot of detail. So if you want to take a closer look, I already gave Ms. Heides a copy when I came back. Take a look at that. But I will tell you one thing that was interesting to me. Years ago, when I was a teenager, I went up to the Sierra Nevada Phillips station with my dad. And we actually were, as a family, in Lake Tahoe. He said, come on, we're going to go up there. And every time since, I've heard it on the news, called the Sierra Nevada Phillips Snow Station. I never realized that it was named after Sierra Nevada Phillips, a woman. I thought it was named after the mountain range. So gentlemen came out in the gold rush, later got married, and they named their first daughter Sierra Nevada Phillips. And that's where you see every April 1, you get the snow reading at Echo Summit. So she ran a 320 acre resort up there, and it's passed down in the family on the matriarchal line ever since. And since 1941, DWR has done its annual snow survey there. And so her great-granddaughter gave a wonderful presentation to kick things off in the morning for an endowment that she and her husband set up in the name of Sierra Nevada Phillips to recognize women in the water industry. And this was the third year they gave an award. And the recipient is a lady that I think all of us have met or seen at aqua conferences, who just retired from PPIC. Okay, number two. Director Gunther was in my committee meeting on Tuesday, and he said he wanted to have me say that he thought this was maybe the best Region 5 tour he'd ever been on. And John and I thought it was really, really good. I'm sorry I didn't go on a field trip like this years ago. But we went all the way to the top of Twin Peaks. We're standing right under Sutro Tower, where they have two reservoirs. The top one is called Summit Reservoir. And we went past some of the cisterns and other water pumping stations in the city, and down to Aquatic Park, and then all the way around the city waterfront, down to South San Francisco to see the sanitary plant, which is the size of a small airport. Along the way, we had the deputy fire chief of San Francisco with us. So Steve Ritchie and the deputy fire chief were talking about how everything is integrated into multiple different systems. And San Francisco, after the 1906 earthquake, they built separate fire water systems from their potable water. And it's very complex for a city like that burned down, you know, after the earthquake. So I found the most interesting part of the tour, and Jim did too, the utility house down at Aquatic Park, which they built after the earthquake around 1910. And the purpose was to pump in seawater all the way up to a 500-foot elevation in the city, where other pumps could then pump water even higher. And they have been upgrading that plant ever since. About every decade, they go through and thoroughly upgrade the plant. And it takes seawater straight from the ocean right there where the pier is, and pumps it in. They keep everything working. And a lady reporter who was with us asked the question, well, when have you used it, or with what frequency? And we were told by the plant operator, we've never had to use it, not even in the '89 earthquake, where they needed water in the marina. So, but they keep it up to date with all the most modern equipment and everything. Quite a fascinating tour. And I've always wondered what was in that building every time I go up there. Okay. John, you want to give your version?
Okay. Long history of aqua in San Francisco, going back to Art Agnes and the grape growers, where there was aqua did not go to San Francisco at all. At the 75th anniversary of the Hetchy system, we had a reception at City Hall. And down in the basement of the City Hall, a big table, there were table grapes on the table. I got on the phone and said, I think it's okay, got to come back now, guys. Aqua had tried to come to the Board of Supervisors meeting, and the San Francisco Board of Supervisors would not even let them speak. So that was the long history of it. We did have a meeting when I was chair in 2004 in San Francisco. We finally got a director of the San Francisco system in after several tries. Fiona Ma tried and wasn't accepted, but had Andy Moran, extraordinary water guy, and I don't know how you turn him down, particularly when he was the water guy for Dianne Feinstein. director of the water system. When she was mayor, if she ever had a problem about water, she bypassed all the organizations and went to Andy. So that part of the history, the fact that the system has never been used, including the 3 cisterns, which have different color water hydrants, high pressure, about 90 PSI or greater, and they even have equipment on their fire trucks that allow them to lower the pressure from that system in order to use it locally, but they've never used it. So I wonder, it's a system that has not, even with not been able to be integrated into their normal operations, and therefore would probably meet a classic definition of a failure. To say that they have modern equipment, they're going to great lengths to maintain very antiquated equipment in this pump station. They had to replace some of the electrical in its entirety, power side, but the mechanical items uniquely manufactured by their own staff, our artisans, their own ship, and it's fascinating to see what they've done. Next, we had the, do you want to talk about the, yeah, let me just add, the deputy fire chief told a few of us that after the 1906 earthquake, they ordered new fire hydrants from a foundry up in Seattle. And they said, we'll buy everything you can make for the next year to repopulate the city with fire hydrants. One quick side story, they were pointing out they thought the hydrants were their last line of defense. I said, well, in 1906, didn't they use explosives as their last line of defense? To which I was corrected by Steve, the general manager on water side. He said, no, the directive was to blow up houses that were already burning, and they just merely spread the fire.
All right, on the happy note, item 7.3.
I got to add one thing here. So the presentations were split into 4 or 5 parts. One was from a city official who was explaining how they're protecting the city against climate change and sea level rise. And they've passed this huge bond in the city to finance all this. So in some places, it's as little as 1.5 feet or 2 of protection. In other places, it's up to 6 feet. And all along the Embarcadero where the tourists are, and you see the ferry building, they're going to have to raise all of that substantially up from the current foundations to a much higher height.
Yep.
So we're going to see a real transformation in the downtown there as they go through all these efforts.
We had one other point too. I encourage you to Google, if you can, or even visit the Hunters Point Community Center built by the SFPUC wastewater funds. It's huge, massive community center, which will just leave you in awe. And how they were able to use utility funds to build that center is worth some review and investigation.
All right, on that very happy note, item 7.3, please.
Water Education Foundation Summit. Once again, a really good program. Director Weed was there too. I was very impressed with the presentation that Secretary Crowfoot gave in the morning. He spoke for half an hour extemporaneously and hit every point. He just nailed it. I told him afterward he should really consider running for governor because he's got the it factor. They also gave out their annual journalism award, and this time it was to the first time they gave an award to a television reporter, a broadcast journalist from Colorado, who has been extensively covering everything on the Colorado River, from all the western states that tie in and the 40 million people that depend upon that water. And as you know, we're trying to go through major negotiations, get the final phase of the old river contract renegotiated here. There were a lot of other good presentations at lunch. I had lunch with the attorney who negotiated, who represented what am I thinking about? Our water bank, Semi-Tropic. He represented Semi-Tropic and negotiated the early contracts with Ray McDevitt and then with, I think, our general counsel here. So he talked with John too. We kind of got caught up. And I had lunch with somebody else that we all well know, and that was Megan Marino, now Megan Murphy. And she got a huge promotion leaving the district after 8.5 years into this world-class position representing the County and Municipal Utilities Association right on L Street in Sacramento, across from the state capitol. And she had two of her superiors there to the left of me who were just complimenting her, like right and left. It's just like, we hit the nail right on the head here when we found her. We went through dozens of interviews to try and find somebody with her capabilities. So, and she was just ecstatic. She really, really likes her new job. And one of her bosses told me, we have so much respect for Alameda County Water District. If we have a chance, and this was it, we knew we were going to get somebody good.
Oh, good. Thank you, Director.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Director Sethy. Director Wee, do you also have a report back for 7.3?
Yes, presentations were in general useful and interesting, with the exception of the presentation on Delta. I had four or five speakers who really could only talk about the present and were not capable of really looking to the future. On the side, I've suggested to General Manager of CEO Bosca and others that when we talk about the Bay Delta plan, we make it the Bay Delta 2035 plan. People have an understanding that it's an incredibly short-term effort with a lot of it's taking its time to go through. And it would be far more informative to the public and others. We use that the date for which the plan. It allows them to ignore sea level rise and live in a world of oblivion. I've suggested the Delta's doomed. We're going through the 5 stages of grief, and all speakers were in the first stage of denial. Anger, anger, negotiations, despair, and resignation.
I felt the same way, honestly.
Okay.
So
In fact, I'm going to make a suggestion that the next time they have their annual program, that they do the far range outlook.
you can't live.
All right.
There's some things you can't live with. You can't handle it.
Okay.
So South Bay Engineers Club.
Yes, please.
We had a presentation from the Livermore Planning Department, the head of that department and another person on this huge development that they've been planning at the intersection of 580 and Isabel Avenue. And I told them afterward that I thought they should actually make a video of this presentation, which was about an hour, for any future people that want to serve on a planning commission or a city council, because of all the layers of understanding you have to have that most people don't have in serving in city government. All the federal, state, and local regulations, all the design criteria, all of the aspects of accommodating different housing rules and accommodating low-income housing into your designs and the complexity. This has taken 7 years going through the planning department, planning commission, and now the city council. And they're just starting construction right now of under 2,000 units. And also all the complexity in dealing with other organizations like Caltrans and the train that may go through from the Central Valley to Livermore. All of the other interagency ties that it takes to make a project work. And I know we work on the other side, one side of it. It was really, really interesting. There's a lot to learn there, just in terms of governance.
Great. Thank you. Director Weed?
Well, same presentation, but my takeaway was they were touting their 15% inclusionary housing, to which even they said even members of their own council were questioning, shouldn't we be calling it exclusionary housing as we do in Fremont? We put them in separate buildings and structures. So you identify which are the units of affordable housing and which are the units of the market rate. They're not mixed. So it's one of the curious aspects of current planning. They need not even be in our area, not even in the same project. Put out money into a fund where they can build an exclusionary housing project somewhere else in town, which they're doing on Osgood or in the old so-called Sage parcel, Centerville, 100% affordable.
Thank you, Director Weed.
I have one more very short report. I attended the Bosca live streaming of their Bosca board policy meeting yesterday. And the reason I attended is because they had one agenda item, which I know they've been working on for the past year, on a study looking at water affordability around the Bay Area. And so I have distributed to the board and staff 3 slides where affordability is less than 1.5% of the median household income. And what you see is that the cost of water has actually gone down about over 20% since the study in FY 13-14. Over a 10-year period of time, it went down to 0.77, which is just about half of the state guidelines for what makes water affordable. And if you look at the last page, you'll see that rates among the Bosca members has gone up 72%, but water bills only 35%, which tells you how much conservation has been going on. And here's they used a lot of data that you can see from these different sources up here. But what was really revealing in the meeting yesterday is the perceptions that people have about the cost of living are not supported by the statistical data. Water's actually become more affordable. Electricity's gone up a little bit. Housing has gone down surprisingly quite a bit compared to annual incomes. The median household income was 11,800 here. It's now around 12,500 or close to 150,000 a year in the last year. Food costs have actually gone down. Gas has gone up a little bit. Healthcare down a good 20%. Transportation costs down a good 20%. But other went from 28% up to over 38%.
Thank you, Director Sethy.
Huh?
Thank you for your comments.
These slides are on, just for anybody who's online, the slides have been presented online, and I do think that that was a great report, Director Sethy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask either Leonard Ash or the lady who prepared this presentation from Bosca to speak to it. One last sentence. There is a reason why the other costs have been going up so much. It's primarily from the studies, the Gen X and millennial generations not saving money, spending all their disposable income on entertainment, cell phones, streaming services, everything else.
All right. So
Closed.
thank you for the great report back. Any other director's comment, Director Akbari? All right. Before we adjourn, I noticed Mr. Abreu had joined us online. Mr. Abreu, do you have any comments for the board? If you do, I can reopen the public comment. If you wish to address the board, Mr. Abreu, please raise your hand. I am not seeing a hand, so I think we're done. Then I will say the meeting is adjourned at 7:32, please.